So there is this 30-pound metal box hiding in your local shopping mall or airport right now that costs nearly $40,000. And its entire job is just to route video to a bunch of screens.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Right. Well, welcome to this deep dive. Today's mission is to unpack the hidden brain behind those massive multi-screen displays you see in public spaces. We are looking at a product spec sheet from HDTVSupply for the Smart-AVI MXWallPRO-3636-S.
And it is just a remarkable piece of industrial infrastructure. I mean, the manufacturer's suggested retail price is $55,800.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, though the spec sheet we're looking at shows it discounted down to $39,060. So we are exploring what a piece of AV equipment at that massive price point actually does, to keep security stations and entertainment venues running.
Okay, let's unpack this. The specs define this as a 36 by 36 HDMI Matrix Switcher. And I kind of look at this like a high-tech digital train yard.
That's a good way to picture it.
But with a twist, right? Because instead of just routing a physical train to one single track, this matrix yard can instantly clone an incoming video feed.
Right, and it sends identical copies down 36 different tracks.
Exactly, or 36 different screens at the exact same moment. And it does it all without slowing the signal down.
And that cloning ability is really the essence of a matrix switcher. Any of the 36 inputs can just be sent to any combination of the 36 outputs simultaneously.
With zero signal degradation.
Right, zero. But to pull that off, I mean, the physical scale of the unit is substantial. It draws 300 watts of power and houses 9 input cards and 9 output cards.
And each of those cards holds 4 HDMI 1.4 connectors. So it takes all those incoming feeds and scales them uniformly to a really crisp 1080p resolution at 60 Hz.
Yeah, regardless of what resolution the original video started at.
Which is pretty impressive.
It is, and it brings up an interesting point about that HDMI 1.4 standard, because capping at 1080p might sound a bit surprising for a $40,000 device.
Yeah, especially when everyday consumer TVs boast 4K now.
Exactly. But in commercial video walls, rock-solid, frame-accurate synchronization across 36 screens is just far more critical than pushing raw pixel count.
Okay, that makes sense. Because just routing that video is one thing, but this unit is taking those inputs, splitting them, and literally stretching one image across a massive array of screens seamlessly.
Or, it can split 2 inputs across multiple screens or just do a basic 1-to-1 arrangement.
And it's built for 247 uninterrupted use. I do have to push back here, though.
Oh.
Yeah, wouldn't a software program running on, like, a standard high-end PC be infinitely cheaper and easier to manage than a giant 30-pound metal box?
So what's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism of how hardware outpaces software for this specific task. When you rely on an operating system to render video, you introduce inherent latency.
Oh, because it's doing other things.
Exactly. A CPU has to share its processing power across dozens of background tasks, and that leads to microstutters and synchronization drift across all those displays.
Right, so instead of relying on an OS that might say, prioritize a random background update over your video feed, the hardware guarantees dedicated resources.
Yes. This switcher uses dedicated application-specific integrated circuits, or ASICs, and these create hardwired physical pathways for the video signal.
So the signal just never waits in line.
Never. Real-time, fully hardware-based processing means zero delay, which is an absolute necessity in critical environments.
Like security operations centers.
Exactly, where a split-second stutter just isn't an option.
The spec sheet does mention a Windows software program and a free Android app, though.
Right, but those are strictly for the initial setup. You use the software to upload a custom logo, define your screen bezels, or adjust the aspect ratios.
And then you just disconnect.
Yep. Once configured, you disconnect entirely. The hardware takes over the heavy lifting independently, ensuring the video flows instantly and flawlessly day and night.
Without any of that software overhead to crash.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, the next time you walk past a massive, perfectly synchronized video wall at an entertainment venue, you will know exactly the kind of heavy-duty plug-and-play tech running the show behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is an entirely different level of infrastructure hidden just out of sight.
And it leaves a really lingering question for you to mull over. The source text we reviewed also highlighted menus for 4K and 8K HDMI products.
Oh, right.
So if a highly capable, frame-accurate 1080p matrix switcher costs nearly $40,000, just how exponentially complex and incredibly expensive must the hardware routing be for a massive modern 8K stadium display?
That is wild to think about.
Definitely something to ponder next time you're at the game.